Today's Metro News television forecast is brought to you by Greer Industries, improving people's lives for more than a century.
Show your latest forecast on a Wednesday. This week, warm to hot and humid and multiple chances of rain where heavy and excessive rain and flash flooding is possible. Remember, turn around, don't drown. Never drive through any flooded roadways if you encounter that. Had a high of 84, low at 70, generally warmer than average, especially for the low in Charleston yesterday. Picked up a half inch of rain yesterday in Charleston, and western areas of the state have already recorded some very heavy rain for the morning. Some areas already an inch and a half of rain. Some flash flood warnings listed in western areas of the state already for the morning. Marginal risks of isolated severe storms here and there, damaging winds and some large hail. We have a slight risk of severe weather tomorrow where scattered severe storms are potentially possible, especially for damaging winds, but some large hail possible. And over the next 5 days, this rainfall accumulation graphic still showing moderate to heavy amounts of rain and locally higher amounts as well. What the radar may look like at 1 p.m. Rainfall here associated with a trough over or just east of Appalachia too. We're in the warm sector of things, so there will be some elevated heat and humidity until a cold front slams into our hot and humid air mass sometime around Friday night. So multiple chances and likely chances of showers and storms. Fly Sierra forecast, it starts at home. Plenty of cities in here have some concerns with heat and storms in here too. Orlando near 91 today, 91 in Chicago. From Panhandle to Panhandle, chance of showers and storms, some isolated severe weather a possibility. To the east, 70s, 80s, some near 90s in lower elevations. From east to west, generally in the ranks of the 80s, be mindful of rain and storms. And to the south, we already had some flash flood warnings impact areas of western portions of the state. Chance of showers and storms today and tomorrow, 92, heat index near 100, likely on Friday, and some occasional passing showers and lower temps next week.
In 1914, the same year the first commercial flight soared and the Panama Canal opened, Greer Industries was born. Herbert and Agnes Greer began in Morgantown, West Virginia, striking the first pick into the limestone formation that would become the backbone of one of the state's great industrial legacies. From the roads we drive on, the buildings we build, and the communities we serve, Greer Industries has been delivering quality for decades. At Greer Industries, we've been improving lives for more than a century.
This is MetroNews Hotline, presented by Salango Law. MetroNews Hotline is a 3-hour audio tour navigating the world of sports, news, entertainment, tech, and more from a Mountain State point of view. For your entertainment, Hotline is a no politics zone. You can join the conversation. Text the show at 304-825-5304. 304-TALK-304. Or call 800-765-8255. Here's the host for Metro News Hotline, Dave Weekly.
All right, hello, West Virginia. We are back for more in the 304. Time to get it done in the 681. Time to start this 3-hour tour for Wednesday, June 10th, 2026. Metro News Hotline. Metro News Hotline comes to you from the Salango Law Studios. Visit salangolaw.com. Coop, you know what?
Hello.
We ought to make some sort of an application to ESPN so they could do like a 30 for 30 short to show what happens at the end of midday and the beginning of my show.
Oh, yeah. Okay.
Just for that little itty-bitty period of time where signs get swapped out, people sign in and sign out on the interwebs. All of our things kind of come together in kind of a NASCAR, pit kind of a situation. We could all be interviewed. You, me, Dave Allen of the multiple Daves on this network.
If you think about the perspective of this question, and if you think about maybe a slightly different era in the United States, that would actually be a really great idea for like a book or a documentary of some kind. Back when everybody listened to the radio all the time, and you call it the space in between or something like the time in between when your favorite programs go on and off the air, and you could source it all the way back to live plays on the radio when you would go from one show to the next and then walk it progressively up through news programs and everything else. That would actually be very interesting.
I almost ran over Stephanie Pauly trying to get the sign swapped out. I mean, she could come on the 30 for 30 short and talk about her near-death experience with our program.
Yeah.
You know?
Well, I think that's daily with people that listen. But.
That's probably true. For the moment, it's not pouring the rain here in Charleston.
It's like somebody flipped a switch at 11 o'clock this morning or something like that, and suddenly it just cleared off.
Yeah.
It's been cloudy, but we haven't had much rain in a few hours.
So David Allen was giving me a hard time about staying up too late.
Oh, yeah. What were you doing up late?
Well, I was watching the Reds game, for one thing.
I had to peace out after the 9th inning.
Yeah. Well, it ended up okay.
Yeah.
It ended up okay.
I was convinced, as any good Reds fan, I was convinced when I went to bed that the game was basically over. So
did you go to bed when the bases were loaded and were the bases loaded for the Padres in the bottom of the ninth and there was nobody out or just one out?
I went to bed after the top of the inning, assuming that the Reds would lose it in the bottom of the inning. So I have no idea. Like I know what happened now. So I think you're right. I think it was the bottom of the ninth. I don't know how many outs there were though.
Yeah, Manny Machado. He's hitting like $170.
Struggling. Man, I just read Joe Sheehan's newsletter today, and it's all about aging players and how poorly they're performing. He's not super old yet, but, I mean, it's amazing that we went through sort of a halcyon days of the guys that were sort of playing well into their late 30s and being productive and things like that. No. According to Sheehan's numbers, these guys are dropping off. Like, it's not happening anymore.
Machado, man, you remember when Machado was playing for the Orioles and he was not quite as big as he is now?
Yeah.
He's just such a huge person. I remember when the Padres went to the playoffs and they were covering the celebration in the locker room, and he's dancing around with the goggles and he's smoking cigars and throwing beer on everybody. But the thing that got me, I didn't know there were guys in baseball. He had a back tattoo that started from like the left shoulder and had a message across the back that went all the way to the right shoulder. And I was thinking, this dude is so big that if I tried to get that tattoo, I'd need like two people.
Was it like the Bill of Rights or something?
It's massive. I can't even remember what was written back there. But it just seems like, how does this happen in baseball where a guy is a mega talent? He's been basically doing this his whole life since he was a child, and can basically go 60-plus games and hit like $170. How's that even possible? I mean, think you'd luck into a couple of hits, right?
I truly think, as we start to evaluate this era of Major League Baseball, that it is such an environment that detriments the hitter so much. I mean, pitchers are going into labs and building pitches. They're getting their arms rebuilt. They're learning every little ounce of spin and drag and everything they can do to a baseball, where to hold it, how to place it, the type of spin that you're going to put on it, how you're going to throw it. You chart all the pitchers and things. I mean, the weapons that pitching has today are so incredible, down to the tiniest little nuance. There's no real offensive answer to that, because you still have to hit that ball. And the best ever during the most favorable times during batting eras did it 3 out of 10 times. So I mean, the fact that we're living in a 240 major league environment, one of the worst hitting environments ever, it all rolls downhill, right? So your older players, I mean, they got to try to catch up with everybody throws 100 now. You know, everybody has a sweeper, whatever that is now. You know, like we just invented a new pitch last year. After 100 years of baseball, we have a new pitch. It's called the sweeper. So now we have the sweeper we have to contend with. All these different pitches and things that people are coming with, the nuances of where they can put it. I mean, everything is coded for the pitcher these days. ABS might be the first thing really that came along in a while that might level the playing field just a little bit. It has lowered the strike zone a little bit, which does help.
Okay, ABS. I wanted to talk to you about this yesterday. And we got a bunch of stuff that we're going to get into today about WVU and the College World Series and the high school term. We're going to get into all that, I promise. But we didn't talk about this yesterday. Did you see where Matt McClain for the Reds won 3 ABS challenges in one at bat? That's got to be the record, right?
I'm wondering.
That's got to be the record.
Do you think these guys are being coached to if in your mind you're wondering and it's a certain ump, go for it, because there's some umps that are just terrible. You know, so if you're like, hey, that might have been a little bit outside. If it's somebody that you know their data and they're pretty strong normally, maybe you don't challenge that call. But if it's somebody whose data you know that they miss a lot of calls, maybe they're challenging him more. Because that guy, the ump last night, is a notorious bad behind the plate. So I'm wondering if they were coached to do that.
Maybe. And there's strategy involved here, too. And it depends on how well the player is playing. So the Pirates played the Dodgers yesterday, and you're trying to protect your challenges, right? Or at least you think you should. So Marcell Ozuna has been really awful. So he's up at the plate, I think in the second inning, and he's challenging a call with nobody on base. I'm like, what are you doing?
I call that the Sal Stewart.
What are you doing?
That's the Sal Stewart special.
Is
Yeah.
there any way that the manager can zap a player?
I know, right?
who thinks-
Can they wear collars? I mean,
Yeah, it's like,
at this point, you make $42 million a game. You might need to wear a shot collar.
Is there any way we could signal to this player, this is not where we choose to make a challenge right here? We're sorry that you're under the Mendoza line, but listen, man, that looked pretty close. Why don't you just protect the plate and let's all get on with our lives?
Agreed. Agreed. If that's what we have to do.
Well, but you were talking about the data that players, hitters and pitchers are getting now. Now, we know movement, there's put a bigger emphasis on pitch movement than there's ever been before. But as a hitter, man, there is so much information out there if you choose to use it, right? I mean, who if just in terms of the starting pitcher might be and the probable relievers that you may face. You know what they've thrown you in the past. They know they've got the information on when you go through the lineup the second time, how many pitches are not as effective as they have been in the past, what pitchers are using when they face a batter in the second or third time they face them, what pitches they use when they get to a certain count. There's so much information. But you got to love it every once in a while when a guy will say, you know what? I don't want to know what's coming. I don't want to be thinking about that. I want to come to the plate with a clear mind and want to see ball, hit ball, right?
I have some questions.
It's kind of refreshing.
Well, I kind of have some questions in regard to offense if it wouldn't do you better anyway. Because, even the most successful batters in history, you fell 70% of the time.
Right.
This data environment that we're in now, sure, batters do have all that data, but they're always going to be at a 70% deficit to the pitcher. The information warfare is favoring the pitcher significantly, and I wonder if charting trends and in a war of trends where you just basically throw in what amounts to one narrow AI against another narrow AI, because that's what they're doing with these things.
Right.
I wonder if in that environment, if you're just coming to the plate, you're like, you know what? I know he throws a curveball, fastball, and a slider. I know how baseball works. I know how people pitch to strategy. I'm just going to go up here and take my hacks like everybody did for 130 years of the game before today. I mean, there might be something to that.
You and I go back and forth about – I heard somebody bring up Dusty Baker today. And, we've been talking about Terry Francona and some of the moves he's making. Sometimes I don't really have a problem with a veteran manager who goes with his gut, okay?
You have to. I mean, what else are you going to do?
Yeah. If you have managed literally thousands of games, you've basically seen it all in the sport, sometimes you got to color outside the lines a little bit. Sometimes the manager will go with his gut, and he will make the right decision, but will just get the wrong outcome, right? And you've just got to be able to live with that. And in the case of Francona, I just kind of feel like, everything is so magnified when he was in Boston. Not so much when he was in Cleveland, and certainly not when he's in Cincinnati. Do you think that impacts the decisions that he makes? Have you noticed how short he is with his answers after games? Like, it's almost like he knows the game. He knows how journalism works. He doesn't really want to give you like too much meat on the bone because he knows he's probably going to be attacked for it.
Yeah, I don't know exactly. I agree with all of that. Yeah, I think that there's something definitely to that. The Cincinnati press isn't the hardest press in the world to deal with, so you don't get a lot out of that. And, people tend to want to be sort of polite to Tito, which is fine. I mean,
I'm fine with it.
You don't want to be unprofessional or anything along those lines, but he doesn't get grilled a lot. He finds a way, and maybe it's because they know they're not going to get a lot out of it, or maybe, what are you going to say? I mean, you have like a bunch of of the hitters on your roster, like hitters number 4 through 14 are basically the same guy. I mean, so what are you going to do, right? I mean, you basically have the same below average player you're trying to plug into every position. So there's only so much you can do as a manager. But I think you're right. I think he plays it very cagey, and also maybe he feels like it gives him some room to play around a little more on occasion. The one thing that can frustrate you and you can have respect for both is the fact that he'll give people opportunities and moments that he thinks that they should succeed in. So, like, if he thinks that a guy is like, okay, well, I want to see what this guy is like coming in a leverage situation late. We'll see what happens. He just walked 37 straight guys the last time he was on the mound, but we got to put him in and see what happens. Unfortunately for him, because there you can see that strategy, right? You want to bring this guy in, he gets his confidence up, he gets you out of the inning, and maybe you got a guy you can build on psychologically that you can rely on in leverage situations. What's happening to Tito all year, every time he takes that gamble, the guy just blows up. I mean, he can't build on it.
Yeah, you can tell he's trying to move the pieces around on the chessboard and trying to manage
and the players
the
are
bullpen.
failing. I mean, you can't really blame the manager for the players failing.
Yeah. It was funny. We're going to play this clip. Sal Stewart last night, you probably missed it because it happened so late. The game went 11 innings. He hit a 2-run homer and won the game in San Diego last night. He was really quick, and we've got the clip. We're going to play the clip where he was talking about the noise around the club, and I think as fans, we don't really deal with that day to day.
I'm sure.
I mean, we don't know. We've got Wemby. We got a clip with Wemby that we're either going to get in the Sound of Sports or play later in the show today about dealing with pressure on the road. Hey, these guys, they make a lot of money. They get idolized. That's fine. But they're not robots.
Right.
Okay? They're not robots. They are dealing they're dealing with a lot of stuff. I mean, think about what Wemby's going through. He's only 22 years old.
Yeah, right. Yeah.
When he threw up that game in Game 3 when he went north of 30 points, he was the second youngest guy to ever do that in the history of the league.
Only Magic was younger. Yeah.
Yeah.
Crazy.
Other things we're looking at today, we are following the West Virginia High School baseball tournament. George Washington, GW, has already won today in the Quad A quarterfinals. That game was this morning. They beat Huntington High 6-1. Daniel Woods, who's been calling a lot of the games and been commenting on them. And MetroNews is your home, by the way, for all that stuff. He will join us. That will be at 4 o'clock. WVU getting ready to play Troy. That'll be Friday afternoon at 2 o'clock Eastern in the College World Series in Omaha. I think we're going to get Tony Caridi is going to join us from Omaha. They're having some travel issues. The WVU contingent is trying to get out to Omaha, but we believe we're going to get Tony on the ground. That'll be at 5:33 this afternoon. Let me get Jeff Jenkins in here for this. Jeff, did you see where Bob Simmons died? You remember?
I wrote the story.
Oh, I didn't see the story.
I was Bob Simmons's student equipment manager for about 4 years. As student equipment managers, we were assigned to a coach, and Bob Simmons was my coach. I was his manager for 4 years, outside linebacker coach there with the Mountaineers.
Yeah,
yes, I did see that.
So he was from the era with Neyland, where the coaching staff essentially stayed the same for years, right?
Yeah, he was there from 80 to 87.
Yeah. And when he left, it was kind of like, what, you're leaving? That was from the era where guys just didn't leave Neyland. And then he went on to be the head coach at Oklahoma State. He was there, 5 years?
8 years, 6 years.
As the
First
head coach.
African-American coach in the Big 8.
There you go.
Was it called the Big 8 before the Big 12? What was it called?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So he was. Yeah, he was. In Bedlam, he was 3-3.
Nice.
Won 2
Nice.
games in Norman.
Yeah, he had been out of coaching for a while. He was coaching high school ball, right? I think he was at the very end.
May have. Yes.
Yeah,
May have. At the
But
end,
I just thought that was such a unique story that when you think about that gang of assistants that Neyland had from that era, we talk about players and their ability to move freely. In that era, the salaries were not such Amato deal. Okay,
they weren't very good.
Yeah, if you
coaches.
remember when Chuck Amato had the $1 million staff, right? That was when the entire staff made $1 million combined at North Carolina State. Doc Holliday was part of that after he left West Virginia. But Bob Simmons was from that era where guys just didn't leave.
Well, just don't count your hours and your pay. Okay? I mean, just don't try to calculate that because, that at that time, because they worked a lot of hours, worked a ton of hours.
Absolutely they did. Absolutely they did. So we noticed that. Let me get the question of the day out. I was talking about college football. Coop, are we the only show in the Continental 48 that has not done a Brendan Sorsby question?
Yeah.
Because I think we're going to.
Is that going to change today?
That's finally going to change today. That's going to finally change today. By the way, I guess I was feeling a little bit industrious. We have a question of the day about it, and we have a poll about it.
Oh,
We have a Twitter poll about it as well today.
You just can't say X poll because it sounds like that we're promoting something else completely.
I know. That's true. That's true.
So, get the music out.
Question of the day, and it is sponsored by Salango Law. This Brendan Sorsby situation is a perfect storm. It's got your legal battles. It's got massive NIL money, gambling addiction, institutional integrity, the villain narrative after Georgia and Nebraska refused to play Texas Tech over that. We've got a Kirby Holcutt response today that reads kind of like a love letter. We're only going to do a little bit of it. But people are talking. People are talking about it, suffice to say. So here's the question of the day, and it is sponsored by Salango Law. If a player can bet on his own team and still get on the field via a court ruling, is the integrity of college football completely gone? Okay? If a player can bet on his own team and still get on the field via a court ruling, is the integrity of college football completely gone? To respond, text those in, 304-TALK 304, 304-8255-304. Tweet me. I'm on Exit Weekly, WEEKLEY, one word, 3 E's, WEEKLEY. And if you think that question is a little over dramatic, maybe guilty as charged, but I think it's a legitimate question, and I look forward to your answers. All right, Jeff, what do you got? What's happening in West Virginia today?
The Mountaineers, the baseball team has arrived in Omaha. They are there.
Okay.
It's the MetroNews traveling party that's having might be having a little difficulty getting there. I think they were held up. But there was a send-off today in Morgantown and in Bridgeport at the North Central West Virginia Airport. So we've got that story. We covered it at WVMetroNews.com. Big public hearing this evening in Morgantown, 5:30, State Public Service Commission on the Marl transmission line. And that they'll be taking public comments this evening. Also, the Marshall University Board of Governors met this afternoon. We're working on a story there. They've purchased some property for a new home for the Joan C. Edwards School of Medicine. So we'll be building a new med school in the coming years. So those stories, we had storms earlier today, and watch out tomorrow and Friday, possibility for late day storms, both dates.
I'm seeing your Bob Simmons story now.
Yeah.
Jeff, he's pretty tricky, Coop. You slipped that in there about 1:30.
Yeah.
Slipped that in there on me. Thank you, Jeff.
Okay.
We'll take a break. We'll come back with more in just a moment. Stay tuned.
The Library of Congress.
I'm Sean Kovich, Mountaineer Golf Coach. When disaster strikes your home, business, or golf game, call the restoration company the Mountaineers call. Panhandle Cleaning and Restoration.
Leading the efforts to build a stronger West Virginia, the High Technology Foundation has a proven plan to strengthen and diversify our state's economy. The I-79 Technology Park's high-capacity infrastructure continues to attract advanced federal operations that are driving economic growth. This keeps our young, educated residents in the state and brings West Virginians home. The High Technology Foundation, building a stronger West Virginia. Learn more today at WVHTF.org.
The 2026 High School Baseball State Championship. 4 classes, 4 champions, 1 unforgettable day. From first pitch to final out, the 2026 West Virginia High School Baseball State Championship, presented by Toyota, Saturday, June 13th. Watch live on Metro News Television, Facebook, and YouTube. Available on mobile, Roku, Apple TV, Fire TV, LG TV, and select Samsung Smart TVs.
Longer days, warmer drives, and better deals at Dan Cava GMC. Hit the road in one of our new luxury GMC Acadias. Take your pick from our massive selection. Now up to $5,500 off select new Acadias and 3.9% for 60 months. The great deals continue with our large selection of quality pre-owned vehicles. All this and more at Dan Cava GMC in Bridgeport. Shop the world.
1914, the same year the first commercial flight soared and the Panama Canal opened, Greer Industries was born. Herbert and Agnes Greer began in Morgantown, West Virginia, striking the first pick into the limestone formation that would become the backbone of one of the state's great industrial legacies. From the roads we drive on, the buildings we build, and the communities we serve, Greer Industries has been delivering quality for decades. At Greer Industries, we've been improving lives for more than a century.
You own a boat because you love spending time on the water. Choose the outboard that allows you to make the most of it. Honda Marine's legendary reliability, ease of maintenance, and powerful performance keep you going strong. And they're all backed by the peace of mind protection of the industry's best limited warranty. Visit your Honda Marine dealer today and find out why it's more than an engine. It's your time on the water.
What does it mean to lead in medicine? J.W. Ruby Memorial Hospital is the top hospital in West Virginia, nationally recognized for 3 programs in 18 procedures and conditions. But to us, leadership means being first in care, in lives saved, in lives restored. In medicine, we lead in the ways that truly matter.
All right, we'll take a break for local news here at the bottom of the hour. Come back with the sound of sports and a whole lot more. This is MetroNews, the voice of West Virginia.
This is Hotline, presented by Salango Law on MetroNews, the voice of West Virginia.
Today's MetroNews television forecast is brought to you by Greer Industries, improving people's lives for more than a century.
Show your latest forecast on a Wednesday. This week, warm to hot and humid and multiple chances of rain where heavy and excessive rain and flash flooding is possible. Remember, turn around, don't drown. Never drive through any flooded roadways if you encounter that. Had a high of 84, low at 70, generally warmer than average, especially for the low in Charleston yesterday. Picked up a half-inch of rain yesterday in Charleston, and western areas of the state have already recorded some very heavy rain for the morning. Some areas already an inch and a half of rain. Some flash flood warnings listed in western areas of the state already for the morning. Marginal risks of isolated severe storms here and there, damaging winds and some large hail. We have a slight risk of severe weather tomorrow where scattered severe storms are potentially possible, especially for damaging winds, but some large hail possible. And over the next 5 days, this rainfall accumulation graphic still showing moderate to heavy amounts of rain and locally higher amounts as well. What the radar may look like at 1 p.m. Rainfall here associated with a trough over or just east of Appalachia too. We're in the warm sector of things, so there will be some elevated heat and humidity until a cold front slams into our hot and humid air mass sometime around Friday night. So multiple chances and likely chances of showers and storms. Fly Saver forecast, it starts at home. Plenty of cities in here have some concerns with heat and storms in here too. Orlando near 91 today, 91 in Chicago. From Panhandle to Panhandle, chance of showers and storms, some isolated severe weather a possibility. To the east, 70s, 80s, some near 90s in lower elevations. From east to west, generally in the ranks of the 80s, be mindful of rain and storms. And to the south, we already had some flash flood warnings impact areas of western portions of the state. Chance of showers and storms today and tomorrow, 92, heat index near 100, likely on Friday, and some occasional passing showers and lower temps next week.
In 1914, the same year the first commercial flight soared and the Panama Canal opened, Greer Industries was born. Herbert and Agnes Greer began in Morgantown, West Virginia, striking the first pick into the limestone formation that would become the backbone of one of the state's great industrial legacies. From the roads we drive on, the buildings we build, and the communities we serve, Greer Industries has been delivering quality for decades. At Greer Industries, we've been improving lives for more than a century.
The 2026 High School Baseball State Championship. 4 classes, 4 champions, 1 unforgettable day. From first pitch to final out, the 2026 West Virginia High School Baseball State Championship, presented by Toyota, Saturday, June 13th. Watch live on Metro News Television, Facebook, and YouTube. Available on mobile, Roku, Apple TV, Fire TV, LG TV, and select Samsung Smart TVs.
On the next State of Minds.
There's this big power plant that looks like it's going right on top of Davis.
And I think everyone was asking the same question, why? We have a rural character, outdoor character, wild character of our county. And we would be kind of putting in this utilities size industrial landscape. And I think it would change the character of our county.
All right, welcome back to the show. We'll reset our question of the day here in a minute, get into the sound of sports. Jeff Erickson's coming up in about 13 minutes to get into some fantasy baseball stuff. So, listen, if you got a fantasy baseball question, you might as well run it by the experts, and that would be Jeff, senior editor at RotoWire. So send me a text on that, 304-TALK 304, 304-8255-304. Before we do the sound of sports, Coop, I saw this story today. Did you see where Fall Fest at WVU was canceled?
Yeah, I did see that.
After 30 years?
Right before I came down, I saw that.
I think they had Kanye like a couple of times.
Wow, really?
If you look back at the acts that they had for Fall Fest at WVU over the last, well, I guess it would be parts of 4 decades, right? 3 decades. Anyway, in any case, they had some pretty big names. Can you imagine going to like a Fall Fest concert in Morgantown, West Virginia, and seeing Kanye?
Yeah, that would be good. That'd be good. I saw. I didn't go to the school, obviously, so I didn't understand just how big of a deal it was. But I saw a lot of responses on social media that were really piling on it. Very surprised about that it was taken off the calendar.
Yeah, it's official today. So Fall Fest is gonzo. All right, question of the day. And it's sponsored by Salango Law. The Brendan Sorsby story continues to really get people fired up, mostly upset about the situation that he's going to be playing. This story has everything: legal battles, NIL, massive NIL, gambling addiction, institutional integrity, and more. So the question of the day is this: if a player can bet on his own team and still get on the field via a court ruling, is the integrity of college football completely gone? If a player can bet on his own team and get on the field via a court ruling, is the integrity of college football completely gone? We got a lot of response to this, and we'll get into those in a bit. But you know what? We're all here together. Let's go ahead and do the sound of sports. Let's get into the sound of sports because there's a lot of stuff to get into today in regards to the sound of sports. And we will start with the baseball. State tourney in Huntington. GW beat Huntington earlier today, 6-1. Jefferson is leading Washington. That game is getting late. Those are Quad A quarterfinal games. Dirty Birds took on High Point again last night. And last night, Charleston scored 5 in the 8th for a 12-9 come-from-behind win. It snapped a 9-game losing streak from the big leagues. In Pittsburgh, Paul Skeens pitched well, but the bullpen didn't, as the Dodgers put a 10 spot up in the 7th and beat the Bucks 12-3. The Pirates' defense left a lot to be desired in this one as well. In that 7th inning, Henry Davis, with a wild pickoff throw to third, allowed the Dodgers to take the lead for good.
Everybody's ready. The 2-1 is strike 2. The throw down to third, dribbles away, and rushing will come in to score.
Okay, so we're going to, yes, we can get on Rush all day long about that slide into second. Not good. Base running first to third, elite. Going back to third in that situation, even better. Finds the third baseman, gets in his way, and does it standing up. If he slides, then it's a clear lane for the catcher. Look at this. Look at it. Look where he stays, standing straight up, right in the way. I mean, that's how you're taught, and that's the way you should go back into third on a pickoff.
So the 7th inning meltdown ruined a good start for Skeens, who allowed just 2 runs and struck out 7 in 6 innings. Here's Pirates manager Don Kelly on the loss and that awful 7th inning.
Like that 7th inning, what's going through your head as you're trying to find a way out of it for you guys?
Yeah, you know, and the guys are too. I think that was just we got sloppy there on a lot of different plays. You know, not throwing strikes. The back pick, we're trying to make a play to help, you know, the pitchers out and get out of the inning. And we just need to play cleaner.
All right, so the Pirates have now lost 4 straight. Shohei Ohtani goes for his 5th straight win on the mound for the Dodgers tonight. Well, the Bucks will counter with Jared Jones. In San Diego, the Reds snapped a 5-game slide with a 5-3 win over the Padres in 11. Reds rookie Sal Stewart delivered a tie-breaking 2-run homer to power Cincinnati to a much-needed win.
Matsui readies, he throws. And Stewart whacks one to center field. It's well struck. Merrill going back. Merrill looks up. That's gone. Sal Stewart launches it out of here to straightaway center field. And the Reds have a 5-3 lead. He gave it a long ride, and he just got it over the wall.
So the Reds hung on for just their 3rd win in their last dozen games as the beleaguered bullpen negotiated multiple late-inning jams last night. Here's Sal Stewart after the game on his big hit and the noise surrounding the Reds these days.
Yeah, and it hasn't really been going well for myself either. You know, I've been down on a little stretch here, and I've been hearing the outside noise, you know, and it kind of motivated me a little bit. You know, I sometimes you need a little bit of that, and we all hear the outside noise, so it's nice to get a big win like this. And on to tomorrow.
All right, so the Reds, Brady Singer goes in the series finale tonight against the Padres, who have lost 12 of their last 15. And in Baltimore, the O's are 6-5 losers in 10 to the M's. Randy Arozarena hit a 2-run homer to lead off the 10th inning to lift the Mariners to the win.
Fly ball driven deep. It spins O'Neill around, and it's gone! It's gone! It's a home run to lead off the 10th inning. A 2-run homer from Randy Arozarena.
So the Mariners have won 11 of their last 14. The O's are still without catcher Adley Rutschman, who was unavailable last night due to a left hamstring tightness. In New York, the Cards blanked the Mets 7-0. St. Louis has won 5 straight. Former Mountaineer J.J. Weatherholt's 2-run double off Mets starter Freddie Peralta sparked a 4-run 3rd inning.
Got an immediate threat here, walk and a double. And the Cardinals have something brewing here in this scoreless game.
And a line drive, base hit. That scores 1. Church will fly home. He will score. J.J. Weatherholt with an ambush puts the Cardinals up. And Freddie Peralta, after walking the leadoff batter, giving up 2 straight hits, and it's 2-0 St. Louis.
All right, and while Weatherholt is flourishing in St. Louis, another Mountaineer with the Cards, Victor Scott, is not. Scott has lost his starting center field job with the Cardinals and was optioned back to the minors yesterday. Here's Cards manager Oli Marmol on optioning Victor Scott.
That was a tough conversation, man, with Vic. It really was. This is a guy I don't have to tell you guys, he's a hard worker. He's going to do everything you ask him to do. And it just wasn't translating at this level at the moment. There's certain adjustments he has to make. There's a certain way he's being pitched that made it really, really tough on him. It's not because of a lack of effort, determination, or work. He's going to go down to AAA. He's going to put his head down, and he's going to do everything possible to get back up here. But in the meantime, Church is ready to go, and I'm excited to have him in the lineup.
Scott's an elite defender, but was hitting just .196 in 61 games this season. And in Chicago, White Sox rookie Braden Montgomery had a big league debut to dream about. He hit a 2-run 10th inning walk-off home run to lift the Chi Sox to a 6-5 win over the Braves.
But it's Montgomery, perhaps fittingly, making his major league debut, who is the Sox last hope.
Chance to be a hero in his major league debut. Tying run at third, 2 outs. The 0-1. Montgomery hits a fly ball pretty well. Deep left. And it is gone! He's won it! No chance! An opposite way. 2-run homer. Braden Montgomery coming around third. He's going to be mobbed by his teammates. This has been just amazing to watch.
Montgomery is just the 5th player ever to hit a walk-off home run in his big league debut. Let's take a quick break. Jeff Erickson from RotoWire will join us in just a minute.
Ready to make this boating season unforgettable? Head to Lou Wendell Marine Sales, family owned and operated for over 40 years and West Virginia's largest Avalon pontoon dealer. Lou and his sons are boating experts from sales to service to repairs. And right now, their lot is packed with incredible inventory and some of the best deals of the season. Because they don't just sell boats, they sell family fun. Visit LouWendellMarineSales.com today. Boating season is almost here.
Hi, I'm Josh Strand, Safety Coordinator for Civil and Environmental Consultants. Some companies talk about profit first, but at CEC, we put safety first. It's not just a slogan, it's how we live. We invest in top-notch safety gear and practices because we believe a safe workplace is a productive one. I like knowing that at CEC, my safety matters. So why settle for less when you can work where safety truly comes first? At CEC, we engineer progress in the great state of West Virginia.
Find out what CEC can do for you. Visit cecinc.com.
The 2026 West Virginia Scholar Program has been a huge success. High school juniors from all across the state have applied, and we're down to 15 finalists. Now, we need your help. Please go to WVMetroNews.com and vote for your favorite finalist. By casting your vote, you can help determine who will win a full scholarship to West Virginia Wesleyan. That includes room, board, tuition, and fees. Just log on to WVMetroNews.com, click the Vote Now button, and cast your vote. You have until midnight, June 14th, to help us change the life of a West Virginia student and their family forever. Cast your vote today by clicking the Vote Now button at WVMetroNews.com. The 2026 West Virginia Scholar is supported by Greer Industries, the West Virginia Hospital Association, ZMM Architects and Engineers, the West Virginia Farm Bureau, Friends of Coal, and of course, Metro News. Vote now at WVMetroNews.com and help us change the life of a West Virginia student forever.
Metro News Hotline, brought to you by Salango Law, will return right after these messages.
Leading the efforts to build a stronger West Virginia, the High Technology Foundation has a proven plan to strengthen and diversify our state's economy. The I-79 Technology Park's high-capacity infrastructure continues to attract advanced federal operations that are driving economic growth. This keeps our young, educated residents in the state and brings West Virginians home. The High Technology Foundation, building a stronger West Virginia. Learn more today at WVHTF.org.
What does it mean to lead in medicine? J.W. Ruby Memorial Hospital is the top hospital in West Virginia, nationally recognized for 3 programs in 18 procedures and conditions. But to us, leadership means being first in care, in lives saved, in lives restored. In medicine, we lead in the ways that truly matter.
1914, the same year the first commercial flight soared and the Panama Canal opened, Greer Industries was born. Herbert and Agnes Greer began in Morgantown, West Virginia, striking the first pick into the limestone formation that would become the backbone of one of the state's great industrial legacies. From the roads we drive on, the buildings we build, and the communities we serve, Greer Industries has been delivering quality for decades. At Greer Industries, we've been improving lives for more than a century.
Longer days, warmer drives, and better deals at Dan Cava GMC. Hit the road in one of our new luxury GMC Acadias. Take your pick from our massive selection. Now up to $5,500 off select new Acadias and 3.9% for 60 months. The great deals continue with our large selection of quality pre-owned vehicles. All this and more at Dan Cava GMC in Bridgeport. Shop the world.
I'm Sean Kovich, Mountaineer Golf Coach. When disaster strikes your home, business, or golf game, call the restoration company the Mountaineers call. Panhandle Cleaning and Restoration.
You own a boat because you love spending time on the water. Choose the outboard that allows you to make the most of it. Honda Marine's legendary reliability, ease of maintenance, and powerful performance keep you going strong. And they're all backed by the peace of mind protection of the industry's best limited warranty. Visit your Honda Marine dealer today and find out why it's more than an engine. It's your time on the water.
If it matters in West Virginia, it's being talked about here.
I always said I was going to move to a mountain in Tucker County, but I'm probably going to put a data center on it, so I got to find a new plan.
Join Dave Wilson and TJ Meadows for Talk Line on Metro News Television. Sports Line on Metro News Television.
I was sitting with a guy last night, and he said, all right, I'm going to go put $1,000 on it.
Well, down the stretch of that ball game, he's looking at us like, are you kidding me? Sure enough, the Mountaineers came back. I saw him today. He said, yep, I'm putting another brand on them tomorrow.
All right, welcome back to the show. About 13 minutes till the hour. Jeff Erikson from RotoWire joins us now to talk a little bit about fantasy sports. I got a question for Jeff. Shoot me a text on that, and I'll turn it right around. 304-TALK 304, 304-8255 304. How you doing today, Jeff?
I'm doing well, Dave. How are you?
I am fine. I'm fine. You know, I didn't get a chance to listen to your show earlier today. Did you guys talk a little bit about Fantasy World Cup? Because it starts tomorrow.
Yeah, we had 2 different World Cup guests on. It was fantastic. And, you know, we talked generalities about the World Cup as a whole. I mean, we talked a little about some individual players, but there is a fantasy angle. You can go over, play at DraftKings for sure, and FanDuel. They have games. But I'm just a fan of the sport, too. And I love international competitions like this. I love watching the World Cup. Even when I wasn't as into soccer as younger, I still loved watching the World Cup.
Yeah, I'm glad you. I really didn't know what platform to try to get something going. I'll probably try to get into some sort of league tonight after I get off the air.
We got pick 'em pool too. I'd recommend that. That's a fun way of doing about that as well.
Okay. So we got a little. I guess this is good news on Ellie De La Cruz earlier today from Terry Francona, where he said that he's going to take infield drills for the second straight day, and he'll have a follow-up MRI on Friday. I sort of see that as good news. Do you?
Absolutely. And in fact, that MRI was going to be next Monday, but instead they're pushed it up to Friday. So that is definitely good news. They said 2 to 4 weeks with this injury, and I want to make sure that – I mean, I have no say in this, but I'm hoping that they don't rush him. You know, because hamstring, groin, quad injuries, any sort of muscle injuries of the legs, you don't want them coming back too soon and pushing it too quickly and then having a setback there. But, yeah, it's a night and day difference with him and without him in the lineup.
Do you think that he'll have to go out for a couple of minor league games before he comes back, or will he get a clean bill of health and go right back into the lineup?
Not really sure on that one there. Every player is different as far as that goes. I would say the shorter the absence, the less likely you need much of a rehab assignment.
All right. As far as the replacements for De La Cruz in the Reds lineup, from a fantasy perspective, what's your take on Edwin Arroyo at this point?
A little overmatched so far. Not to be surprised. The leap from AAA to the majors is as big as ever. I think he probably needs a little bit more seasoning. He was actually slumping in the last week at AAA before getting the call. You know, you don't really get to choose when that happens sometimes. And Matt McClain's heated up. And we've seen a little bit more from him. Some power some days, 3 stolen bases last night. So you're seeing a little bit of that. This was kind of viewed as a competition between Arroyo and McClain, and who would be the guy that would kind of stick around more when LA comes back. And so far, my vote would be for McClain.
All right. Speaking about McClain, I wanted to ask you about that. I mean, he's showed a little bit of a spark the last few days. He does have some fantasy value, right?
I think so. You know, as long as he's playing every day, or near every day, he's had to fight for his job. And, you know, he was starting to lose some playing time before the LA injury. So this was a critical stretch for him.
All right. Stop me if you've heard this story before. Ronald Acuna is hurt again. So he went on the injured list today with a strained left hamstring. What can you say to soothe Acuna owners?
Not much, to be honest with you. I mean, at least he was running before the injury, but we'll see what happens when he comes back. It's the second time we've had a hamstring issue with him this year. I think this is, our friend Will Carroll would always say, this is part of the kinetic chain. You know, he's had 2 knee surgeries. You know, sometimes the muscle injuries come after that. There is compensation or just adjustment. You know, it's just his lower half is compromised. And so this might be just part of the Ronald Acuna Jr. experience going forward, unfortunately.
I wanted to ask you also, you know, sometimes one of the keys to winning fantasy baseball is looking at players on teams that most other players kind of avoid. I mean, like the Rockies. And I want to ask you about the White Sox. So Braden Montgomery hit a home run to walk it off last night in his major league debut. There's some players on the White Sox that have some pretty decent fantasy value. Would you agree with that?
Yeah, and in fact, as a whole, just that they're +9 in run differential. They're the second wild card in the AL. They've got better a lot quicker than we expected. The question will be whether their starting pitching can hold up. Davis Martin, for instance, starts today, and he's coming off of his worst start. He's been their best starter so far. I want to see how he bounces back in a tough matchup against the Braves, albeit without Acuna. So we'll see how that works out. But the two Montgomerys are going to get Murakami back in about a month or so. They've got some interesting parts. The bottom part of their order and the rotation are the two things we're going to kind of watch there. But teams comprised of young players sometimes get there quicker than we expect. I mean, Dave, you go back and watching the Rays a long time. When they made the World Series, that came out of nowhere.
Yep.
They didn't have any previous playoff runs before that, but they came of age altogether. David Price, Carl Crawford, Evan Longoria. This is young players with these young, high upside prospect cores. They can put it together. They can gel. And you look at the White Sox. They're in the right division for it, too.
You know what? Speaking of my days with the Rays and MLB Advanced Media, today was one of the days I used to love. You'd have an early afternoon game at the Trop. There'd be about 6,000 people there. You'd be on the beach by 4 o'clock. And that's exactly what happened again today. Hey, finally, I wanted to ask you about Aaron Judge. Jason Collette, who's on your show often, has a great article at RotoWire about how to deal with Aaron Judge being on the IL. And we really don't know when he's coming back. And he's probably going to have to go out and play a few minor league games when he ramps up. Could you trade him? Could you trade Aaron Judge in fantasy baseball?
You can, for sure. And, remember, they said 4 to 6 weeks, and then they're going to evaluate him again. So he's not coming back necessarily in 4 to 6 weeks. There's going to be a ramp-up timetable after that. When you're gone that long, it's like having to go through spring training all over again. So, yeah, I would take 75 cents on the dollar for Judge, especially if you're not in the, if you're scrapping to get into the money spot.
Hey, is there any reason to reserve Jameson Taillon of the Cubs?
If you have IL spots, sure. Otherwise, move on.
All right, got to leave it there. Hey, thanks for coming on the show, and we'll talk again next week at the same time. I appreciate it.
Thanks, Dave.
All right, we'll take a break and wrap up the hour in just a moment. Stay tuned.
MetroNews Hotline, presented by Salango Law, will return right after these messages.
On the next State of Minds.
There's this big power plant that looks like it's going right on top of Davis, and I think everyone was asking the same question, why? We have a rural character, outdoor character, wild character of our county, and we would be kind of putting in this utility-size industrial landscape, and I think it would change the character of our county.
You own a boat because you love spending time on the water. Choose the outboard that allows you to make the most of it. Honda Marine's legendary reliability, ease of maintenance, and powerful performance keep you going strong. And they're all backed by the peace of mind protection of the industry's best limited warranty. Visit your Honda Marine dealer today and find out why it's more than an engine. It's your time on the water.
Sunshine, open roads, and a new Toyota from Dan Cava Toyota World. Lease an all-new Camry for as low as $398 a month. All-new Tundras now up to $8,000 off. All-new Tacomas now up to $4,500 off or lease as low as $399 a month. $7,500 off the new BZ or 0% financing for 72 months. We've got a Toyota for you at Dan Cava Toyota World in Fairmont. Shop the world.
What does it mean to lead in medicine? J.W. Ruby Memorial Hospital is the top hospital in West Virginia, nationally recognized for 3 programs in 18 procedures and conditions. But to us, leadership means being first in care, in lives saved, in lives restored. In medicine, we lead in the ways that truly matter.
Leading the efforts to build a stronger West Virginia, the High Technology Foundation has a proven plan to strengthen and diversify our state's economy. The I-79 Technology Park's high-capacity infrastructure continues to attract advanced federal operations that are driving economic growth. This keeps our young, educated residents in the state and brings West Virginians home. The High Technology Foundation, building a stronger West Virginia. Learn more today at WVHTF.org.
1914, the same year the first commercial flight soared and the Panama Canal opened, Greer Industries was born. Herbert and Agnes Greer began in Morgantown, West Virginia, striking the first pick into the limestone formation that would become the backbone of one of the state's great industrial legacies. From the roads we drive on, the buildings we build, and the communities we serve, Greer Industries has been delivering quality for decades. At Greer Industries, we've been improving lives for more than a century.
All right, that's going to do it for the first hour of the show. We'll take a quick break for news here at the top. When we come back, we'll take a look at what happened today on Wall Street. The S&P on track for back-to-back negative sessions for the first time in about a month. We'll take a look at some individual stocks, and we'll also get updated on what's going on at the West Virginia High School Baseball Tournament in Huntington. This is Metro News, the voice of West Virginia.
Today's Metro News television forecast is brought to you by Lou Wendell Marine Sales. We sell family fun.
We've picked up a lot of rain the last 24 hours, bringing some localized flooding concerns with more on the way. The next few hours, still a marginal severe risk that'll be improving as we head into the evening. But Thursday, scattered storms may be capable of large hail and damaging winds with a marginal severe threat. Friday, another day with a widespread slight risk for severe weather and a marginal risk for excessive rainfall. So more flooding possible with locally higher totals both Thursday and Friday. General accumulation, that ½ inch to an inch is expected from Beckley to Elkins and Morgantown, dropping off east and west of that swath. So by this evening, should be done with severe weather, but non-severe rumbles of thunder and showers persisting. Heading into Thursday, it'll be in the late afternoon and evening from the west that additional storms will form and move into the region with some severe potential and some heavy rain. Friday, we'll see this repeat one more time. Friday's storms will be ahead of a cold front, and behind it, some much more comfortable conditions on the way. FlyCRW forecast, it starts at home. You'll notice Chicago already has the clear and more comfortable conditions on Friday behind that same cold front that'll reach D.C. and New York by Saturday. Panhandle forecast, another very warm overnight period with many areas staying in the 70s. Then 86 for Morgantown, 88 Moundsville on Thursday. Going east, we see more temperatures maintaining 70s overnight and then reaching 90s for our Thursday. Charlestown 93, Petersburg 90, Davis a cool spot at 79. Elkins 67 tonight, Ripley 70, 86 for Elkins and 90 for Ripley for our Thursday. Ending south where we have more temperatures in mid-60s to low 70s for lows and then mid-80s to low 90s on Thursday. Friday, not as hot, but we have the cold front passing. By Saturday, some sunshine. It will be next week that we settle into some cooler conditions.
You own a boat because you love spending time on the water. Choose the outboard that allows you to make the most of it. Honda Marine's legendary reliability, ease of maintenance, and powerful performance keep you going strong. And they're all backed by the peace of mind protection of the industry's best limited warranty. Visit your Honda Marine dealer today and find out why it's more than an engine. It's your time on the water.
This is MetroNews Hotline, presented by Salango Law. MetroNews Hotline is a 3-hour audio tour
Navigating the world of sports, news, entertainment, tech, and more.
from a Mountain State point of view. Hotline is a no politics zone.
You can join the conversation.
Text the show at 304-825-5304.
304-TALK-304.
Here's the host for MetroNews Hotline, Dave Weekley.
All right, welcome back to the show. Hour number 2, How Do You Do? Metro News Hotline. Keeping you company here in West Virginia every weekday afternoon beginning at 3:06 on the Metro News Radio Network. Thanks so much for tuning in today, folks. I really do appreciate it. Hey, wherever you're listening to the show today, inside the state or beyond the borders, just trying to get a read on what's going on back home, we hope you're having a good day. We're doing okay here in Charleston. Thanks for asking. Operating out of our flagship, 580 WCHS. About 81 degrees. Downtown Charleston right now. We got a busy hour for you. The next couple of hours are really busy. So we'll take a look at what happened in the financial markets in just a moment. We do that every day at the top of the 4. We're going to reset our question of the day. Daniel Woods from Metro News is going to join me here in just a moment. We'll get a little bit of an update on what's going on at the West Virginia High School Baseball Tournament in Huntington. We've had quarterfinal action multiple days this week. Today, Quad A quarterfinals. George Washington has already moved on. Jefferson as well. We'll get Daniel's take on that and get you set up for the games tonight. That'll begin at 5 o'clock. Also, we'll hear from one of the coaches of a victorious team. That'll be coming up in just a sec. A little bit later on in the hour, we will have the entertainment report around 4:25. Pick one is at 4:33 today. Abra Rauhidi from CNET is out of the box today. And Coop, what did you tell me? She's going to Korea next week? Is that right?
That's what she told me, yeah.
Wow.
She's going to Korea next week, so she'll be out again.
Okay.
And we already have confirmation of Rod being here next week. So we are.
Rod Pyle's going to be here. Perfect. Yeah. So, and that'll be really interesting to get his take because, we've got the big SpaceX IPO coming in a couple of days. So I want to get his take on that. So we'll do a pick one. That'll be at 4:33 today. In the 5 o'clock hour, we will talk to David Schultz from Locked On Sunbelt and talk a little bit about the College Baseball World Series. WVU is already in Omaha. So we'll talk a little bit about the matchup between West Virginia and the Troy Trojans from the Sun Belt. The Sun Belt Conference, where Marshall lives, has now sent a representative to the College World Series 2 seasons in a row. And Tony Caridi is going to join us at 5:33, hopefully from Omaha, trying to get out there with the rest of the Metro News guys. So we'll check in with him. That'll be at 5:33, and then more of your responses to our question of the day before we pack it up and get on out of here at 6 o'clock. All right, let's go ahead and take a look at what happened in the financial markets today. A lot of red on the board, but not too serious. Well, maybe a little more serious than I thought in terms of the Dow. The Dow was down 1.9%, losing 953 points, closing under 50K for the first time in a few sessions at 49,918. S&P 500 was down 1.6%, losing about 120 points today, 72.66 at the close. NASDAQ was down 2% today, losing 509 points, 25,169 at 4 o'clock Eastern. Among stocks of local interest that were big percentage gainers or losers today related to West Virginia, Caterpillar was down 6.2% today, lost $56.70 a share, closing at $8.58 even. DuPont was down 3.8%, lost $1.80, 45.20 at the close today. Dow bucked the trend. Dow was up 3.2%, gained $1.05, 34.27 at the end of today's session. In the energy space, oil up, as you might imagine, as things are heating up in the Middle East again, up 2.7%, gaining $2.37. WTI in the NYMEX, north of $90 again at $90.57. Natural gas at the moment, up 1.3%, up 4 cents, $3.18 per unit at the moment. And what is going on with Bitcoin today? Bitcoin today, down again. But not a lot, down 0.5%, down $400 today. Bitcoin, which has taken about a 50% haircut since last October, at the moment is at $61,707 per coin, and $60,000 is a big psychological level. If it breaks below 60K, it could be lookout below for Bitcoin. And speaking of which, speaking of the stock market, you know, we like to cover that here on this program and get beyond the headlines. Tomorrow at 3:45 here on Metro News Hotline, join Matt Harris for Money Minutes from Huntington Bank. Portfolio managers delivering market analysis, examining the trends behind the scenes, and providing insightful commentary to help your investments work for you. Real expertise, real answers, Money Minutes from Huntington Bank. Tomorrow at 3:45, only on Metro News Hotline. All right, our question of the day. Question of the day. You know, we probably should have had a question of the day about Brendan Sorsby before now, but we've got one today. The Brendan Sorsby story at Texas Tech. Man, this story's got everything you want. Legal battles, NIL big money, gambling addiction, institutional integrity, and much, much more. Here's the question of the day, and it is sponsored by Salango Law. If a player can bet on his own team and get on the field via a court ruling, is the integrity of college football completely gone? If a player can bet on his own team, still get on the field, is the integrity of college football completely gone? To respond, text those in, 304-TALK, 304-304-8255, 304. I'm on X at Weekly, WEEKLEY, one word, 3 E's, WEEKLEY. We'll get into some of your responses in just a bit, but I want to get Daniel Woods from Metro News on the line to talk about what's been happening at the West Virginia High School Baseball Tournament in Huntington. Daniel, good afternoon. How you doing out there?
I'm doing just fine. How about yourself?
I'm fine. Let's start with a little bit of a weather update. Has play today in Huntington at Jack Cook Field been delayed at any point?
The first game of the day was pushed back about 5 minutes. The tail end of the weather system that made its way from the state of Kentucky into West Virginia and then across the Kanawha Valley was making its way through Huntington right as we were about to start this morning at 10. Moved the 10 o'clock first pitch to 10:05, and we've been good the rest of the day.
All right, and I guess in that first game between GW and Huntington, the Highlanders just never got anything going offensively, and GW just dominated from the mound.
That's true. Ty Nettles from George Washington was phenomenal. He struck out 9 in that game. The only reason he didn't go the distance was because he ran out of pitches against the pitch limit. You can go up to 110. He hit 110. He had to come out, but GW was able to hold things down in the 7th without him. He strikes out 9, and they move on with a really impressive victory against a Huntington team that was making its first state tournament appearance. GW is the number 1 seed. They looked like the number 1 seed, and they certainly have the resume to deserve the number 1 seed.
So George Washington is through. I mean, we've been having quarterfinal action in all 4 West Virginia classes as we've moved along. We'll get into the semifinals tomorrow. Tell me a little bit about Jefferson and their win over Washington, 7-1 in this battle of teams from the Eastern Panhandle today.
Well, that's a history-making game right there, the 7-1 win for Jefferson. Like you said, John Lowry, who is the only baseball coach ever at Jefferson High School since the school opened in 1973. He's a Hall of Famer. He won his 1,500th game in this one today, number 1,500 in the 7-1 win for Jefferson. That goes back to when his career started in 1971 at Harper's Ferry High School, which, as you will note, is not even around anymore. It was consolidated in Jefferson High School in 1973. He's been head coach in West Virginia for 55 years. He has now won 1,500 games, and they look great. Their ace, Jet Gross, threw 6 1/3 innings in this game, allowed 1 run. They had some timely hitting when they needed it. And that is a Jefferson team that, as a number 5 seed, is going to be a really stiff test coming up on Friday for the number 1 seed, George Washington.
All right. And Chris Lawrence, who's also part of the broadcast team, interviewed the victorious head coach at Jefferson after their quarterfinal win today, and we'll hear from those guys in just a couple minutes. What are we looking at tonight?
Well, we've got the 2 teams that played for the Quad A State Championship last year coming up tonight in separate games. Our first game this evening is the 2025 runner-up Morgantown, the number 2 seed, taking on Cabell Midland. Morgantown is led by their ace pitcher, the Gatorade Player of the Year in West Virginia, Slade Barton, who's headed to West Virginia next year to pitch for the Mountaineers. He's got an outstanding fastball and somebody that has drawn the attention of Major League scouts throughout this season for Morgantown High. Cabell Midland is a very strong team out of the MSAC. They won the MSAC tournament as a number 4 seed. They know something about tournament baseball. Then coming up in the nightcap, the state champions from a year ago from Hurricane, the number 3 seed, take on 6th seeded Martinsburg. And that Hurricane team, again, comes from a very good conference in the MSAC. They lost the state player of the year from a year ago, Weston Smith, who's now pitching for the Mountaineers. It hasn't really mattered because Hurricane has been really strong this year, and they are right in the thick of it to win a state championship. They've got to get through Martinsburg to do it.
Talking with Daniel Woods from Metro News about the ongoing West Virginia High School baseball tournament. Metro News is your home for all the games, and there's tons of content at the website, WVMetroNews.com. All right, Daniel, for years the state high school baseball tournament was held here in Charleston. This is the first year that it's been at Jack Cook Field at Marshall. I just wanted to ask you, how has the attendance been? I mean, did Huntington have a big crowd for their game against GW this morning?
We had a great crowd for that first game today. GW traveled well over 64. Huntington brought a really nice crowd out. We've had good crowds throughout the tournament. We've had a lot of teams that already have a ton of support behind them. Logan always travels well.
Yeah.
They were in the AA tournament. Bridgeport always travels well in Class AAA coming down from Harrison County. So the crowds have looked really nice throughout the tournament. And we do have some teams that are a little bit closer. St. Albans had a lot of fans last night. But big picture, I think you've got to be pleased with the turnout that you've gotten here at Jack Cook Field.
Yeah, I think so, too. I mean, I'm gathering that Cabell Midland's going to have a good crowd there for the 5 o'clock game tonight. And there'll be tons of fans who will matriculate over from Putnam County to watch Hurricane play the late game.
That's absolutely right. And you get these local teams and you get their fans in there. It creates a great environment. We see it with state championships in just about every sport. And bringing it here to Huntington gives an opportunity to those Huntington fans to have it right here in their hometown. Or we saw Spring Valley yesterday. We'll see Cabell Midland tonight. It's been a lot of fun.
Yeah, and for obvious reasons, it's really good for Marshall's program because it gives a lot of the best players in the state a chance to get on campus and see the facility. So what are you doing, Daniel? I mean, how many games a day are you calling?
Well, I have had one game a day each day this week. I'm on 2 today. I had the call of that Jefferson-Washington game. I'll be on with Dave Wilson from Morgantown and Cabell Midland coming up this evening. And then I will be back around for some of the games Friday, and then I'm part of all 4 championship broadcasts on Saturday.
All right, so so when Chris Lawrence isn't on the air, is he like signing a lot of autographs and talking a lot about hunting and fishing there with the people around?
It's like Beatlemania. It's like walking around with John, Paul, George, and Ringo in 1966. You wouldn't believe it.
Hey, what do you think to this point? I mean, there are so many classifications now in West Virginia. It's taken a long time to play this tournament. To this point, what do you think's been the most exciting finish? Was it Bridgeport's comeback against Fairmont East?
I would argue it was last night with St. Albans against John Marshall. Now, I may be a little biased. I was on the call for that game.
Okay.
But we had a game between St. Albans and John Marshall last night, number 2 in AAA against number 7, and that was scoreless through 7 innings. So we go to extra innings, scoreless. A terrific pitching performance from Brogan Sams for St. Albans, then Braxton Burke, who followed him. John Marshall got a great pitching performance from Hayden Hughes. St. Albans gets a leadoff double in the bottom of the 8th from Mason Bledsoe. He moves to third on a ground out, and then Braden Smith hits a sacrifice fly to score the only run of the game on the final play of the game, a walk-off in 8 innings, 1-0 for St. Albans.
All right, thanks for the update, Daniel. Keep hydrated, man. There's a lot more games to come.
That's the plan.
All right, Daniel Woods from MetroNews giving us an update on what's going on at the West Virginia High School Baseball Tournament in Huntington. 4 games today, 4 Quad A quarterfinals games. GW has already won. Jefferson has won a doubleheader beginning at 5 o'clock, and in MetroNews is your home for all that stuff. The aforementioned Chris Lawrence got a chance to catch up with Jefferson head coach John Lowry on earning his 1,500th career victory earlier today in that 7-1 win over Washington. Let's check in on that.
Well, they just announced it on the PA system here, Coach. 1,500 wins. The first time you got a win in baseball as a head coach, gas was 36 cents a gallon.
That was a long time ago. I was down at Harpers Ferry High School in the spring of 71, I think, 1971.
Talk a little bit about the gravity of this moment and this game a little bit for me.
Well, the gravity of the moment, the emphasis is on us winning the game and advancing. Kids did a good job today. I thought Jet pitched extremely well. We got a couple timely hits, and we fielded the ball well. The great play at the second baseman up the middle to get the out at second, and he came a long way. Jet came a long way to get that fly ball there in the last inning. Just a great effort by the kids. And, I've been fortunate to be in the right spot at the right time and have a lot of people that have contributed and have been interested in the program and have supported the program over the years. Great coaches, great boosters, great administrators. It's not a one-man deal. It's a community deal, and we've been fortunate in that regard.
You've had so many players that have come through your system here, and you've been able to develop them along the way. Talk a little bit about that. Is it something in the system, or was it something in the players, or how was it that you had so much success for so long?
Well, we have a good youth league program, and those kids feed in, and I think our success has created interest among young kids to want to aspire to play for us. And we try to play a 32-game JV schedule. So, those kids just aren't playing 8 or 10 games. They're playing 32 games, and they're getting, 80 to 100 at-bats. And then as they progress up. And we've been fortunate in that regard to have the interest in the community and among the players to stay. And we have some guys that go on, and I tell them if they can get an education out of baseball's done a favor for them. Everybody wants to play in the big leagues. There's nothing wrong with that. But if you can use it to get to school, and you like it, and it helps you get through school, then I think it's been a great asset to them.
Well, Coach, it's a privilege for me to get to stand here and talk to you on this special occasion. Congratulations, and go get them in the semifinals.
Well, thank you very much. We got a tough opponent coming up.
All right, there you go. Chris Lawrence with John Lowry, the head coach at Jefferson, after his quarterfinal win today. 1,500 wins for the veteran coach of Jefferson. By the way, Major League Baseball, Reds underway in San Diego. The Padres have scored in the bottom of the first inning. It's 1-0. The Nats are in San Francisco taking on the Giants again this afternoon. They have moved to the top of the third. No score there. Let's take a break, and when we come back, we will get into the entertainment report. Stay tuned.
Don't forget about our podcast. Check out your favorite podcast provider or simply go to WVMetroNews.com and click on the podcast link. This is Hotline, presented by Salango Law on Metro News.